It's that time again. It's that time again. Hey, it's the Time Out with Jeff Sports Podcast with your man, the host, the one and only, Jeffrey L. Mangum Jr. Hey, sports fans, NFL fans, I'm coming to you with this episode of the Time Out with Jeff Sports Podcast with NFL playoff predictions. That's right. Last episode, if you weren't aware, I brought to you the AFC playoff predictions. But on this week, in this episode of the Time Out with Jeff Sports Podcast with the one and only Jeffrey L. Mangum Jr., I'm about to bring you NFC playoff predictions for this upcoming 2022-2023 NFL season, which is right around the corner. Right around the corner. I mean, wait, we're a couple of weeks left in August. We have a couple of weeks left in August, and September is about to get ready and hit it quickly, fast, in a hurry. I can't wait. I know you can't wait. A lot of you sports fans probably like, oh, when is football gonna start? Well, we got preseason, but hey, we all know what we call that. That's just like practice. That's just like a teaser. That's just like a little appetizer. When you go to one of your favorite restaurants, and you start out with an appetizer just to get your taste buds going, and before your main course comes out steaming and hot. And that's how the NFL season does us. They give us those little appetizers of preseason games, training camp, before they give us the main course. And that's the NFL season. Well, hey, let's get on into it. And we're going to start out talking about who made the playoffs last season before we get into my predictions of this season. And hey, don't be afraid to comment in the comment section below and tell me what you think of my playoff predictions. But without further ado, last season playoffs, these are the teams we saw. Remember, the NFL added 7 teams to the playoffs with only one team getting the bye. Only one team received a bye. So, the Buccaneers, the Eagles, the Cowboys, the 49ers, the Rams, the Cardinals, and the Packers were your 7 teams that made the playoffs. So you had what? The Rams, the 49ers from the same, and the Cardinals all from the same division. The Eagles and the Cowboys from the same division. And then the Packers and the Bucs, they was in separate divisions. Well, the Packers were the number 1 seed last season in that division. The Rams ultimately went on and won a Super Bowl in their home stadium. And hey, they paid for that Super Bowl. They went out and got the pieces to win the Super Bowl. They went out and got Von Miller. They went out and got OBJ. They went out and traded for Matthew Stafford. So hey, it all paid out in the end. But they lost a few pieces. Well, Von Miller went on to, I guess what you could call greener pastures. OBJ hasn't signed yet. As you're well aware, he has an ACL tear. So we don't know who he's going to ultimately sign with later on in the season. So those are your 7 teams. I'll say them again. Bucks, Eagles, Cowboys, 49ers, Rams, Cardinals, and Packers. But hey, I'm going to come to you with this season's playoff predictions. Let's start out with that NFC East. And some of you fans and some of you true haters, especially Cowboy haters, y'all like to call this the NFC least. Well, if you ain't aware, I'm a Cowboy fan. It's clear as day. It's clear as day that I'm a Cowboy fan. So we're going to start out with my division of my Dallas Cowboys, the NFC East. So you got the Cowboys, you got the New York Football Giants, you got Fly, Eagle, Fly, and you got, well, it's not the Redskins anymore. It is not the Commanders. It's the Washington. Well, no, you know what? I take that back. It is the Washington Commanders. It used to be Washington football team. When I wrote these down, I wrote these predictions down, I almost lost track of what the name of the team was. Well, they are the Washington Commanders, which were they used to be Washington football team, but formerly known as the Washington Redskins. Hey, in the NFC East, you know, there hasn't been a repeat division winner in that division since, I believe, 2014. 2014. Well, hey, we're going to stop that trend. We're going to stop that trend right now. The Eagles are going to make the playoffs, in my opinion. I believe Jalen Hurts may take the next step, or they're going to tailor the offense for him to be successful. He added a weapon in A.J. Brown with the trade from the Titans. They added some pieces on defense, drafting big burly body in the middle from Georgia, Jordan Davis. So, hey, I think the Eagles going to ultimately make the playoffs. But the Cowboys will repeat as NFC East champions. So, then we get on down to the North, the NFC North. NFC North, where you have the Chicago Bears, the Detroit Lions, the Green Bay Frozen Tundra Packers, and the Purple People Eater, Minnesota Vikings. Well, hey, the Bears, as Dennis Green, the late Dennis Green will say, the Bears are who we thought they were. The Bears are who we thought they were. Bears aren't making the playoffs. Lions, they got a coaching Dan Campbell. Hey, they're on Hard Knocks, but I don't think they have the pieces to make the playoffs. They got a good quarterback in Jared Goff, but can he lead into the playoffs? Who knows? I don't think so. The Vikings, they're up and down. You know, Kirk Cousins, he'll play a pretty decent season, but sometimes it's never enough to get him over the hump. And hey, we all know Aaron Rodgers, and Stephen A. Smith likes to call him a bad man. Stephen A. Smith likes to call him a bad man. We know he lost Devontae Adams. We all know that. But you know, Aaron Rodgers could turn anything into nothing into anything, nothing into something. I'd rather say. I say it like that. He could turn nothing into something. So I believe the Packers will go win the NFC North and be the division champions. It'll be only one team coming out that division. And let's get down to this NFC South. The NFC South with the Atlanta Falcons, ATL shouting, the Carolina Panthers, who have added Baker Mayfield as their starting quarterback. I believe will be their starting quarterback. The New Orleans Saints. Dun, 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 dun. However the song goes. As some like to say, New Orleans. And then the Tampa Bay Buccaneers with my man Tom Brady, who many thought was going to retire. Well, he actually did retire and came back. It came back out of retirement. I guess he's like, I wasn't sure. Hey, on a side note, he did my Dallas Cowboys a favor. He was undefeated against the Cowboys when he retired. Never lost a game to the Cowboys. Guess what? He comes to AT&T Stadium this year, baby. AT&T Stadium. You should have stayed retired, Tom Brady. Now you're about to take an L on your record against the Cowboys. But hey, we'll touch base on that another time. But that's the NFC South. I got the Buccaneers winning that division because of my man Tom Brady. Why not? The Saints lost Drew Brees. I don't know if Jameis Winston is good enough to lead a team to a division title. The Falcons lost Matt Ryan, and they just kind of in a rebuild stage right now. And I'm gonna go out on a limb and tell you who I think go come out that division with the Buccaneers. I believe Baker Mayfield is gonna prove to everyone that he can ultimately lead a team to the playoffs. I can't remember. I think he led the Browns to the playoffs, but you know, hey, he just may have had a bad experience with the Browns. Let's just put it that way. I believe he's gonna have a fresh start with the Panthers. With that man Christian McCaffrey, if he could stay healthy as his backfield mate. And hey, I think Baker Mayfield is gonna surprise people and lead the Carolina Panthers to the playoffs. Call me crazy if you like. But hey, you tell me what you think. Just comment in the comment section below and tell me what you think about me predicting that Baker Mayfield is going to lead the Carolina Panthers to the playoffs. Now, the last division in that NFC. Mm, mm. The NFC West. There's been some changes in that division. My man Russell Wilson is gone. Over to the AFC. Seahawks ain't as strong as they once were. You got the Cardinals. You got the Rams, the defending Super Bowl champions. You got the 41. I almost said 41ers as we call them. 49ers. And then you got the Seahawks. Well, I'll put it like this. The Seahawks, they taking a back seat because they lost Russell Wilson. I believe this is going to be a not so much of a true rebuild, but they still have some weapons on offense, but a semi-rebuild. So they'll do enough to be competitive, but not win and make it to the playoffs. The 49ers. We don't know if they're going to start Jimmy G at the beginning of the season or Trey Lance. If they start Jimmy G, they have a fighting chance. But if they trade him and start Trey Lance, there are going to be some growing pains with that man, Trey Lance. Hey, not saying he's not going to turn into a great quarterback. Not a great quarterback. A serviceable quarterback. But they ultimately fall short of their goal of making the playoffs. So that leaves me with the Cardinals, Kyler Murray leading that offense, and the defending Super Bowl champion, the Rams, making the playoffs. Those are my teams out of the NFC West. Well, hey, sports fans, if you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. It's free. There's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. So download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started today. Well, hey, I made my predictions for the NFC playoffs. Let's recap. NFC East, Cowboys, Eagles. NFC North, Packers. NFC South, Panthers, Buccaneers. NFC West, Cardinals, Rams. Those are my 7 teams that I feel are going to make the playoffs. Don't forget to hit the big red subscribe button and comment in the comment section below. Tell me what you think. Hey, we all know the game has to be played. The game still has to be played. But those are my playoff predictions. There's always a new team that joins the party. I feel like the 49ers are going to step out of there. And then the Panthers are going to take their spot. So look, if you look at it, sports fans, if you just really look at it, last season it was the Bucks, Eagles, Cowboys, 49ers, Rams, Cardinals, and Packers. The only team I have removed out of that equation is the 49ers, replacing them with the Panthers. So I believe we're going to have good turnover in this NFC playoffs, minus the 49ers. I'm not being a hater. I'm just speaking truth. I believe my man Baker Mayfield is going to be able to lead the Carolina Panthers to the playoffs. Those are my predictions. You tell me what you think. Hey, you've been listening to the Time Out Just Sports Podcast with your man, the host, the one and only, Jeffrey L. Mangan Jr. Hey, it's been real. I love you. And hey, peace.